Trust me, Matt has called me much worse, so no worries at all. So, hey, thanks so much for letting me be a part of this as well. Yes, just finished my 33rd year in education, so I'm an old guy. But I'm starting into 34. I'm not done. I got a long way still to go. I was a middle school math teacher, then moved into a role as an ed tech coach and been doing that ever since. So excited to be chatting with you guys here today and with my two wonderful guests, Matt and Jarvis, I believe, are here. So come on up, guys. All right. Well, we're going to begin by letting you guys introduce yourselves to the group here. So Jarvis, you want to start?
Okay, so my name's Jarvis Pace. I work here at SchoolAI. I'm on the success team just like Casey, and I get to work with schools and school leaders across the nation. But before finding my way into the ed tech space, I was a classroom teacher and an ed tech coach right here in Utah. We were school district for about a decade. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Hi, I'm Matt Winters. I'm the Utah State Board of Education AI Education Specialist, and this is my 16th year in education, so we're excited.
Awesome. Well, what we're going to be chatting about here is adopting and implementing AI, which is what we do in our daily lives. And as an ed tech coach, that's something I've been doing for decades as well, trying to get people to adopt these technologies and find out how to use them. So that's really our theme that we're going to be chatting about here. So I guess that's our first question is, there are so many different attitudes that we may come across when we're working with schools about adopting AI. Some are open to it, some are excited about it, others are like, no, let's shut it down. If we just wait a while, maybe it'll go away. My question for you, the first question is, how are you addressing these varying attitudes toward AI adoption with the schools and the districts that you work with?
Yeah, so when I'm working with the school leaders, I always just like to ask, like, what's the temperature, right? We have that bell curve of the folks that are early adopters and absolutely love it and can't wait to get their hands on it, and those people that will dig in their heels and exactly like you said, Eric, just like hope that it goes away. And I always just tell them, like, we're going to wake up tomorrow and AI is going to be even more integrated into our lives than not. So it's just really important that we get on board. And I, as I'm working with the school leaders, I just think it's really important that these administrators and these school leaders have a solid training plan in place. It's very difficult for schools or teachers to want to adopt something if they don't know about it. It's like we're all a little bit afraid of the unknown, right? It's a little spooky. So really showing the teachers and having that training plan in place about all the different tools and not only how it can save like teacher time, I mean, that's great, but I think more importantly, like the impact that this could have on students. And once teachers kind of grasp their brain around how this is going to have an impact on our students every single day, they're going to get on board with it and they're going to be excited about it and they're going to start trying it.
I love that answer. My big thing is that when we have let's turn it back a couple years. This is generative AI is 2.5 years old right now. And one of the things that we forget about when we talk about generative AI in general is that it hit all of us equally across the globe all at once. The ability to use a tool like generative AI was millimeters high. There's just not a lot of barriers there. And so when we think about dispositions and attitudes, we as early adopters often go, well, everyone knows about this, and the answer is they don't. And a lot of it, what they're getting sometimes, people out in the field, whether they be teachers, parents, students, or administrators, is that they might get a fear-based conversation. And so we have to address those fear-based conversations head on. Whether it be, hey, I'm worried about my students cheating with us. Well, students have always cheated. So let's think about other ways to create assignments and work things through that may be really interactive. Or maybe a teacher's really worried about AI taking over their job. Well, AI is not going to take over your job. It's going to help you with your job, and there's ways to make that happen. I always think about we want to think about one of my good friends here in Utah, Bennett. He always says it's the Iron Man versus the Terminator. Mm-hmm. We want to have an Iron Man situation where it's a suit of armor. You put it on. It augments what you're doing. But these fear-based conversations are usually very easy to overcome. It's just a matter of addressing them head on and acknowledging that they exist and finding practical ways to help them through that particular conversation that make them feel comfortable with the overall situation that they're in. And that movement, it can be fairly simple and easy to go through.
Well, I love that. It's fantastic. But I mean, that's what we do as educators. When we're working with students, what we should do is meet them where they're at. We know where we want them to go. We know where we want them to get to, but they're not there yet. And so what do? We try to learn and understand every student individually, meet them where they're at and bring them along. Adults deserve the same when we meet with the schools. Find out where they're at, meet them where they're at. Be careful of our silo. Sometimes we think everybody is using it day in and day out, and they're not. I love that. Well, some of those attitudes, some of those things we come across can be negative. So what are some of the most common barriers that you do see that get put up to AI? And how are you overcoming those? How are you helping address those with schools?
It always just comes back to training and like letting people know exactly what it can do for you and what it can do for your students. And I think as educators, sometimes we get a little burned out by the initiative of the month or initiative of the year. And again, like it's not going to go away. It's something that is here to stay. And we need to learn how to embrace it. And I think administrators and school leaders and coaches, like we need to empower our teachers to accept it and to let them know and encourage them that like, hey, like this isn't going to go away. This is going to be something that we continue to use. And as you continue to use it to put it into your like daily routines and figure out all like the small ways in which it could help because those like little small things that you can use generative AI and SchoolAI to do to make your day just run smoother is just going to have really like the biggest impact. So I think really encouraging teachers just to take it one step at a time and just, again, I think reassure them that it's not going to go away. This isn't something that we're going to do for this school year. The next school year is going to be something totally different. Like it's here to stay and we're going to use it for a while. And as you learn it and use it, it's going to just be more embedded into your daily routines.
Love that. First of all, where's my Utahns at? Hello, everyone. I'm a fellow Utahn, and one of the things I think about in my role here in Utah is there's school barriers, and I think, Jarvis, you just did a great job enunciating those, and a lot of that comes back to awareness and training and coaching and working with the teachers, working with the administrators, and then filtering that down to the students and parents as well. But when we talk about a much higher level around systemic work, there are other barriers, and that might be, someone mentioned earlier, a digital divide around AI due to funding issues, those sorts of things. There may be issues of legislation. There may be all sorts of things that are happening. And where this technology is so new, again, 2.5 years old, folks, we have to really think about, okay, where do we want this to go and how do we encourage that growth and that change over time? And so as leaders in this space, and I would consider everyone here who's here in the room, but also online, a leader in this space that can push on the right mechanisms in their communities to push forward. And so looking for ways to help your community create what we did in Utah, for instance, which was consortium pricing around AI tools, or encouraging statewide training initiatives or district-wide training initiatives, and then not just leaving in one time and going 1 hour of AI is enough for everyone. Let's talk about having that be professional learning and continuing and ongoing, but let's also think about what kind of laws and legislation need to be in place as well to help make these tools go in the right direction for every student, every teacher across the country.
Love it, absolutely. So many good things there about getting people to use the technology and help overcome some of that fear. I know when I work with folks, sometimes I say, hey, just use it in your personal life even. Let's step back from education. Have it make a meal plan, have it plan a vacation. Get used to it in your personal life, and then it'll bleed over into education as well, coupled with the PD that you guys have mentioned. So many fantastic things. Well, I think one of the positives when it comes to addressing these concerns is pointing out how AI can make things better, how it can assist teachers and students and so forth. One of the things that definitely makes SchoolAI very unique here is the ability for AI to actually build stronger connections between students, teachers, families. Sometimes we think of technology as, this comes between people. It depersonalizes stuff. Quite the opposite. So my question is, how have you seen AI actually helping with relationships, building stronger connections between students and teachers and families?
Yeah, I think we've kind of hit on it in other aspects, right? The differentiation and hitting the students with the subject material that they want to learn about. But I kind of want to focus on the family piece and like the quote that just, education is global and every student deserves and every family deserves to have education brought to them in their home language. I think that that is going to be like a huge piece as we move forward into these language barriers for families to help them connect with their school community. And I think that there's just a great opportunity for SchoolAI, AI in general, to provide that barrier piece for those families.
And I'll just add on to that. I think that AI is also can be used as a mechanism to help look for, identify, and then also help students who don't traditionally get served in classrooms, and really think that through. And there's many examples like that on the field right now, and I would just encourage everyone to look for those examples.
Absolutely. And I've heard teachers say again and again, I know more about my students than I ever have known before because I used a space, because I found out I was the quiet student when I was in school. And I was a good student, but I was a quiet student. And this is allowing teachers to be able to learn more about their students and then do what we do best, to have a relationship, to interact, to build on top of that and support them. So thank you guys so much for chatting here, and thanks you guys for letting us do so.
Thanks, everyone.